Hey everyone, Barbara Eaton in Alaska and Dr. Lucy Clary in Australia. And what a great way to kick off National Women Chiropractors Day, which is June the 5th. It is June the 5th in Australia. So
Yeah.
we are the first ones celebrating on the planet. So Lucy, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for a beautiful honor to speak on a gorgeous day. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. And what an amazing thing that as women chiropractors, we've done so much and moved the bar so much. And so it's really fun to be able to do this together. So I just want to tell all of you, I'm going to be doing lots of Facebook Lives throughout today. And I just encourage you to sit back and enjoy the conversation and know that we love you and we're here to help you. And I firmly believe that we're in this game called life and we're in it to win it together. So Lucy,
Yeah.
let's just get started. Where did you graduate from and when did you graduate?
I graduated Atlanta, Georgia, Life University, and 99. Yeah, 99.
1999. All right. So we graduated close together. I graduated in 97. So we've almost been doing this the same amount of time. And what have been some of like the biggest, if you look back over your career of 20 years, what are a couple memories that just really stick out to you as a female chiropractor?
Look, I think one of the founding memories was, moving from being an associate to owning my own business. It was something that had been out in the distance, always, striving for. But when that occurred, that was a huge moment for me. It sort of really gave me such a sense of accomplishment of being, in my own skin and just loving what I do. Yeah.
I love that. And you have a really unique practice situation that probably many of us don't have. And tell us about your team, like the men and the women on your team.
So I practice in Perth, Western Australia, in a suburb called Hillary's. And I used to have a business partner. 8 years ago, she became very unwell. And she moved on from the practice. She had to for health reasons. So it left me in a position of being on my own as a chiropractor. And I tried associates in the practice, and I'm not sure where that fitted at the time, but I moved from having associates to having other health professionals in the building with me. And I found that was a great camaraderie built up there. We support each other professionally, personally, bringing same values to the practice. So we have a naturopath, a very long-term remedial massage therapist, as we've been with us for a very long time, clinical hypnotherapist, an audiologist, and soon bringing on a podiatrist as well. So it's a multidiscipline-based practice. Really a great focus for all of us to share wellness principles and extend our reach for each other, but for me to share chiropractic with a lot more people too in the practice.
That's awesome. And what tips would you give to a doc who's watching right now who that's her dream? Like she wants to have a multidisciplinary practice, and right now maybe she's either in a practice by herself or even an associateship, because this multidisciplinary practice is something relatively new. So Lucy and I have gotten to coach together for what, a year and a half?
Yeah.
Has it been a year and a half? Yeah. And so when we started coaching together, she didn't have, like, lots has changed in Lucy's life. So I just want to encourage all of you that remember that who you were is not who you are, and it's not who you're becoming. And I firmly believe in life, we're either getting ready to go into something, we're in something, or we're coming out of it. And Lucy's been in more than something for the last, how long was Mitch sick for?
About 8 years.
8 years, and with the progression.
Yeah.
So in the last year, Lucy has moved her practice. Her son passed away. We had the whole Australia, actually just a year ago is when the Australia thing hit with kids. Then we had the Australia fires and now COVID. So you're looking at a fighter right here. I'm telling you, this lady has been through it all. So if we go back and let's answer the first question that I had was, what advice would you give to a woman? And then I want you to share, what have you learned through this crazy journey this past year, that will help others, like just their tips from Mama Lucy. But let's first start with, what are your tips to get started in a multidisciplinary practice?
Look, I think reaching out to people was, something we talked about in the boot camp, finding your strategic partners. And I had this vision for a very long time. I'd been in a mastermind group, and I had sort of spoke the passion that I wanted this practice to emerge. So I've always held on to that idea. And I think keep on going, keep on growing with it, because you'll collect along the way. It doesn't come all at once. It's something that, happened for me over a period of time. And as I spoke it, it sort of came to fruition. And I started to draw those people to my practice as practice members. And funny enough, my remedial massage therapist is a friend and patient. The naturopath came through, her children, and we started talking, and the same with my clinical hypnotherapist. The last two brought their children in to be checked and adjusted, and we got talking, and we had such good values that we shared that we found we were a fit. And asking them for the thought of, what are you going to do in practice, and would you like to be part of a practice that incorporates all of this, was just opening up the question. And this last connection was after we moved, reaching out to, some of my long-term patients saying, look, who are your other health care providers that you would love to see in the building, so you didn't have to sort of move around and drive here and drive there for. And that's where it came up. There was a connection with a patient who said, look, my podiatrist is looking for, and we started the conversation. And we shared values of, what we wanted to achieve and supporting each other. And it's creating an environment where you're putting people together to grow and have, have the building for that to happen. So yeah, when we moved, we doubled our floor space to have the space ready and waiting for people to, make the connection and come on through. So yeah, keep with that vision, start the conversation with different people, ask for those connections of the people that you already service, and they're there, they're already there.
I love that. And the mastermind group that Lucy's talking about is within her area. She's a part of a mastermind group. So she got to meet other healthcare professionals and got to know them. And I love your directive of hold firm to your vision. Like, it may not come true tomorrow. It may not even come true 2 or 3 years, but be building those relationships in order to create it in the future. And the other thing that you said several times that I absolutely love is values. We started talking and realized we had the same values. So you know what, in order to attract excellence into your life, in order to attract your ideal life, it's so important. You must have your values, that your values, what they mean to you. You have firm boundaries with your values, and you have value radar. Like, you have your value radar up, and you're looking to attract individuals who are in alignment with that. So beautiful. And congratulations to you. I'm so proud of you that you never gave up on the vision and just stuck with it to see it come true.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Good. Yeah.
So then let's talk for a minute about life gets tough sometimes.
Yeah.
And right when you get back on your feet, you get delivered another blow. What have you clung to this past year when it literally has been like every 60 days, every 90 days, there's been like a new major thing for you to deal with?
Yeah. And at first it seems surreal. You're sort of sitting in amongst it all, and it's so surreal that it's happening sort of again. And the first The first one was 18 months ago with our diagnosis. Mitch was assaulted and left with a traumatic brain injury, needed 24 hours care. And we had held fast to the vision in the first week of him being injured that we would bring him home. His dad, no, and I'm his stepmom, we would bring him home. We didn't know how, we didn't know, just we held that vision that we would bring him home. We would offer him a home. And with his extended family, his mum, his siblings, my children, we're a mixed family here, we held on to that vision of bringing him home. But we were rocked with the news that he had a stage 4 brain tumor. And look, we'd been rocked so many times before. And it was just staying the course. It was just going, yeah, it's okay. We're just staying the course. We're just staying the course. We're going to give it our absolute best. We talked about it just, before we started. It's one foot in front of the other, and it might be a step back to take another step forward, or it might be a step sideways to get around something. Just because it's placed in front of you doesn't mean you have to keep on, headbutting it. Sometimes you go round. You go round and you find another way through it. It comes from something deep sometimes, just to persevere and just know and hold that vision that, yeah, you'll get through it. And we knew that we were going to come to an end at some point, which, Mitch did in February. And he passed on his terms at home with our family. And it was lovely to have given him that opportunity. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was, massive.
I distinctly remember a coaching call about what position are you riding in the car? And just to kind of, do you want to give like kind of a preview of what that's about? Because I think it's really easy when we face a lot of difficulties in our life to think that if I just push harder, if I just control things more, then it'll be okay. What was that conversation, and what did you learn through it?
Oh, look, all these things that were happening in and around, I didn't always have to be in that first position. My responsibility wasn't always in that driver's seat. In some things I was co-pilot, and in a lot of things I needed to be in the back. Like, buckle up in the back. You're in for the ride along with everyone else, but you don't need to be out in the front for this one. There are other people that take the reins of this situation, and knowing that and working through that principle of, which of the 4 positions in that car do you need to be, and that default mechanism for me was thinking I had to be in the front, I had to be in the front, I had to be in the front, I had to be in the front. And that wasn't the case. And when you finally give up that position and you sit in the back and you can contribute, but you're not driving, you're not co-pilot, the co-pilot, you don't have to be in that on position all the time. And it allows you just the space to kick back a little bit. So much, it is sort of driven that you have to do everything you don't. And that was really, really a big lesson for me, that I didn't have to be in that driver's position. Mitch's dad, Mitch's mum, his older sister in a scenario, and I was position 4. And there are a lot of circumstances that I would have been position 1, 2, 4, but I could pull back from that. And when I needed to be in practice, front and center. I got the keys, to quote someone that I know very well: my bat, my ball, my game, my keys. And I had to drive, and if I wasn't driving, no one else in the back would know where we're going. Right. So but sometimes I had to just go, I've got to allow that and understand I'm not in that position. So that was a huge lesson to learn, to enable me to cope with everything, because there was a lot of everything all at once.
I think of it like when your kids are old enough to learn how to drive. And can you imagine if you said to them, look, I want you to learn how to drive, just sit in the back seat and watch me. Like, I'm going to do everything, just sit in the back seat. they're never going to learn how to drive, right? Like you got to put them in the front seat. And, you know, so often we think that it's going to be easier and it's better for everybody if we sit in the driver's seat. But when you got in the back seat, now Mitch and Mark and his mom and his sister, they all stepped up and figured out, okay, how do we work this? And what a blessing that as it got closer to the end, they worked on things together and you could be what your husband really needed you to be, and that was a rock for him. Instead of driving the car, it was the rock for him in back seat, rubbing his shoulders a little bit and telling me, like, you're doing good, babe. You like, keep it up. And that's what he needed you to be. And I think it's so cool when we really can look at life and recognize there are lots of players, and we don't have to be the one that's doing it all.
Yeah.
And we can just like, I had posted in the boot camp, I just started listening to a book called Stillness is the Key. And it's about like just taking that break in life, and so many truths will reveal themselves when we just stop going so bloody fast. So very cool. Yeah. So as we wrap this up, let me ask you this. What is Lucy's mantra?
Keep the passion, keep the vision. Yeah.
Keep the passion, keep the vision. Keep the passion, keep the vision. Hey, yeah. Lucy, thank you so much for joining me tonight. And well, it's morning for you, right? It's morning for Lucy. So she is starting this National Day celebrating female chiropractors. And I just want to tell you, thank you so much. And thank each one of you who is going to watch this and join us. Please pop a comment in and just let us know, hey, that was really great. And maybe just even encourage Lucy. She's coming out of a pretty rough year. And I think it would be great as a female chiropractor if you just show her some love. So Lucy, I love you. I appreciate you. And I thank you so much for joining me and kicking off this awesome series.
Thank you. Love you too.
All right, everyone. Have a great evening. Bye.
Bye.